This right here is the Democrats' problem going into 2024, but also at the same exact time, it's our problem to deal with now.
Had access to change it, had access. It wasn't confrontational at all. He came up to me.
Thank you, everybody. This ends the press conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, skipping the 9/11 ceremony to go to Alaska instead, especially on 9/11. Not exactly a good look, which makes me think that they're blatantly coming out and telling you that they, quite frankly, do not care. That right there would be a president getting cut off while doing he would be cut off in Vietnam right around some, let's just put it this way here. You go to Vietnam, you kind of commemorate the Vietnam War, you go out there, you do a little bit of speech, you eventually start talking about climate change, and of course you eventually get cut off by your staff, especially after this right here occurs.
That the third world, the southern hemisphere had access to change it, had access. It wasn't.
And let's see. I'm just following my orders here. Staff, is anybody haven't spoken? I ain't calling on you. I'm calling. I said there are 5 questions. Anita, VOA.
Joe, thanks for letting us know that you are in fact being controlled. Most of us already knew that, but of course here we are now to have a conversation about this. Now, guys, it would get a lot worse. Don't worry, I'll get to the whole lying dog-faced pony soldier thing because it came back up because apparently he was asked about it. But we'll talk about that here in a second. Now, guys, before we go any further, this right here is one of the few and far between pure political videos that I do from now on. As I told you guys before, I want to keep things for the most part based on the culture, the social, and things that are actually going on. I will still, of course, talk about immigration from time to time and, of course, crime. There is a video that's coming out on Monday about the New Mexico situation involving their governor banning guns, that type of thing. Those right there, of course, fall under the short-timer prepper category. These types of videos will also fall in the exact same category because they're designed to prepare you for the political situation as to come. Now, with that right there being said, let's go ahead and dive into this. So, why is this video called The Democrats' Problem Going into 2024, and why did I lead with this? Because it's pretty obvious at this point in time with the way the mainstream media is acting, the way Joe Biden's poll numbers are responding, how it is at certain key battleground states he's actually losing to former President Trump. It seems to me like the Democratic Party is looking for a way out. And I'm here to tell you right now that that way out is more than likely not going to happen. So here's the deal. You've got a president who has literally fallen upward, going up the steps, getting on Air Force One. You got a president who fell over, on his bike. You got a president that also fell over during a ceremony involving the Air Force. The man is old, he's frail, he's weak, he's got Alzheimer's disease. It's pretty obvious dementia or something like that. He is saying things that, quite frankly, your grandmama typically says before she eventually kicks the bucket. It doesn't seem to me like this man is going to be around much, much longer in the Democratic Party. They know they've got a problem. They're currently indicting a former president, not realizing that his numbers would go up. And, of course, I'm giving you guys some polling data, which, by the way, Trump did not poll well against Biden. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a quick little story about this really quick because he's polling better against him now. But let me go ahead and kind of back up just for a quick second. Going into 2020, I remember, this was back in August of 2019. I went down to Florida, and of course, the person that I was staying with was family. They don't agree with me on anything political, but there's one thing that can say that a lot of far leftist types don't really like Joe Biden either. They just chose to vote for him because they hated Trump a lot more. We'll get to that here in a second because obviously this entire issue has came up recently. But the thing is this right here. He was saying that you're not going to get anything if it's not Bernie Sanders, all the normal socialist, grifter BS. And my response to him, and I was being very, very plain, I said, look, dude, the truth be told is none of those people beat Donald Trump regardless of the situation. The only person who has a chance is Joe Biden, and more than likely he'll probably take somebody of color because the Democrats are trying to lean into the whole wokeness thing. They'll more than likely take Kamala Harris. I said I don't think it will work or get them over, But then next thing you know, 6 months later, you get the worst national environment in American history with the C-19, which is what I call it because of the way the algorithm works. And next thing you know, 2020 occurs. Now, really quick, I know somebody's going to say that even though YouTube has pulled the restrictions off of talking about the 2020 election, and you can now say pretty much whatever you want, I still try to keep things clean because at the same time, yes, it still took boots on the ground that actually voted for that man to get him over. I remember being in the line about to vote, and I have a lot of people around me still wearing masks and crap. Me, of course, I'm not. Typically, the mask was a pretty good indication that the person that's standing in line next to you, they're about to vote for the exact opposite of what you're about to vote for. Same moronical people put this guy in office.
He points to the Union and says, he's a lion, dog-faced pony soldier. Well, there's a lot of lion, dog-faced pony soldiers out there about global warming. But not anymore. All of a sudden, we're all realizing it's a problem. And there's nothing like seeing the light.
Say what you want to about Trump, but at least today, he's still somewhat with it. Sounds for the most part still coherent. And of course, like I said before, regardless of what they did in 2020, you still needed actual physical boots on the ground to physically hit the button for Joe Biden. That's still going to happen this time around, but it will not be as big as I'll explain here soon. So what are the Democrats trying to do? Well, they're trying to go out of their way, seeing how it is that he's losing to Trump right now in the polls, which, by the way, he was actually polling well against Trump in 2019 and 2020. Yeah, they're obviously trying to find another option. Well, option number one was Gavin Newsom, and this is what he had to say.
I think we need to move past this notion that he's not going to run. President Biden is going to run, and we're looking forward to getting him reelected. I think there's been so much wallowing in the last few months and hand-wringing in this respect, but we're gearing up for the campaign. We're looking forward to it.
But you hear these calls privately. What do you tell these donors who are wallowing in this?
Time to move on. Let's go.
It doesn't matter if Gavin's not running for president or not. Gavin Newsom had absolutely no chance of winning. I mean, I hear the likes of Tommy Lahren, and I hear the likes of such, now we don't need to nominate former President Trump because he's got no chance at winning, even though I just showed you guys some polling data that shows you he's actually got a very, very, very strong chance of not only winning the Electoral College, but definitely the popular vote. If the Republican wins the popular vote, trust me, he'll more than likely get elected by winning the Electoral College. But here's the thing you have to understand. Gavin Newsom is not electable. He's not electable in any sense, shape, or form. Everybody on the right, moderates, even left-leaning moderates who left California to get the hell away from there, know that he's a terrible governor. They know that California is so blue that it is a guarantee that he's going to get elected regardless. How does that translate to the national stage? Seeing a guy who is trying to use the 28th Amendment to do gun confiscation, seeing the prices of everything in California, the energy prices, the homeless, and all the infectious diseases, and not to mention the laws that say stuff like it's against the law if you as a parent say that you don't want to or you don't want to transition your kids, stuff like that there. California is absolutely gone, okay? People can obviously see through it, and that's not going to play well in Arizona. It's not going to play well in Nevada. It's definitely not going to play well in Texas, but then again, Texas is a red state. Even Georgia, which is starting to blue, would more than likely flip back red due to him being on the ballot. North Carolina would definitely not vote for him. Even very, very blue Virginia, you might get a massive red turnout and a very, very low blue turnout, which could actually flip that state. I understand it's realistic, but it could happen. It's a presidential election. Pennsylvania, a battleground state, that's more than likely not going to go for it. Even the Philadelphia suburbs are not going to want it. Like I said, and I've said this on multiple occasions, the former president more than likely wins because of the fact that the turnout is going to be very low. I understand the polls. People don't want him to be the nominee. And, of course, this is a general population, even though he continues to poll very, very well amongst Republican voters. But Joe Biden is obviously polling a lot lower. So that right there makes me think automatically that Gavin Newsom has got no actual shot, especially seeing how it is that people have been blanketed. People east of California have been blanketed with all the information on California, and they've seen exactly how far that has fallen. But then you get option number two, and I'll be very, very brief on this one, Michelle Obama. So Malik Obama, Barack Obama's brother, he came out recently on Twitter. He's very, very much a Trump guy. He came out and basically said that, he released a video. I won't play it for you, but I'll link it in the description box. There's a documentary coming out on Michelle and how it is that she intends on running for the 2024 Democrat nomination. Well, the Democratic Party recently just decided to get rid of debates, okay? You've got even freaking James Vanderbeek. Guy doesn't even freaking matter. Went out of his way to go on a bit of a rant about this, saying we need another choice besides Joe Biden. So they were looking at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Well, seeing how it is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is being denied Secret Service protection, it makes you almost wonder what's really and truly going on there, what's actually afoot on that particular prospect. But then now you've got this situation where people are talking about Michelle Obama. I highly doubt that Michelle Obama will run for president. Okay, I highly doubt that she will run for president in 2024. I personally believe if she's going to run, it's going to be 2028. Now, with all the information coming out on Barack, and now you've got this person who was a chef of his who got killed at Martha's Vineyard, I don't think it's actually going to be a good move for her, and I believe she even knows this. So a lot of people were saying that she would run in 2020. I don't see it happening with her. It's just more than likely not going to occur, not to mention the fact that you've got a lot of radical lefties who have actually, I got a fly flying in front of the camera, who have said that they more than likely would not vote for her because they automatically associate her with drone strikes, her husband, all that type of stuff there, because in a lot of ways, the radical left, even though they might still vote for her, it won't be as big of support. So, therefore, I don't see Michelle Obama getting the nomination, and also at the same time, or she could get the nomination, but I don't think she'd get elected. Also, something else to say about Michelle Obama, like I said before, everybody loves to think, I didn't say this earlier, but I'm going to say it now, a lot of people love to think that she's completely invincible, that she would automatically win. They thought the exact same thing about Hillary Clinton. People did not want a dynasty, and therefore Hillary could not get over 66 million votes. Michelle could possibly do that, but at the same time, though, when your Republican nominee was somebody who got 74.2 million votes, and when you look at the possibility that the school lunch program was terrible, the fact that anytime she opened her mouth, people completely disagree with what she had to say, they wish she would shut the hell up. When you look at the situation and everything around Barack, it makes me automatically think that, yes, people are going to automatically think to themselves, another dynasty is coming. But here's the thing. Hillary at least pulled a term in the Senate. She was at least Secretary of State. While she was, in fact, a failure, she at least had that. Michelle ain't got none of that, which then leaves us to option number 3.
Are you taking the threat of a second Trump presidency seriously enough?
I don't understand the question.
I only played like 5 or 6 seconds of that, but obviously we know that Kamala Harris is a great big giant word salad. This right here, of course, was over the weekend. She apparently was at a party, and I think that this got released on purpose because they're trying to make Kamala, how do I say this, more relatable, more likable, when in reality she's an absolute disaster. She's been a disaster from the very, very start. Nobody's going to vote for her. Not even Californians are going to want to vote for her. I mean, she'll still win the state of California if she's the nominee. But the only reason why she was picked was because she was a diversity hire. And to go on top of this, she's extremely unpopular. I mean, check out this word salad.
What is it that you believe? I mean, what week of pregnancy should abortion access be cut off?
We need to restore the protections of Roe versus Wade.
Which
We're
was-
not trying to do something new.
Well, that was
There's-
nebulous because it was about viability, which could be anywhere between 20 to 24 weeks. And so
No.
That
Let
was in
me be very clear.
the Women's Health Protection Act that the White House also
Let me be very
endorsed.
clear. From day one, the president has been clear. I have been clear. We need to put back the protections that are in Roe v. Wade into law. Since the Supreme Court took it, Congress has the power and ability to pass legislation to put those protections back in law, and Joe Biden will sign that bill. So that is what we want.
But does it need to be specific in terms of defining and where that guarantee goes up to and where it does not? At which week of pregnancy?
We need to put back in place the protections of Roe versus Wade.
You
we
know
are
why
not,
I'm asking you
but
this
I-
question,
but
though, because
we're not trying to. But we're not trying to do anything that did not exist before June of last year. We are saying
it wasn't
no,
crafted into law, and that's why I'm asking you for the
But
specifics there, because Republicans say the lack of a precise date in cutting it off. You know this. They say that allows Democrats to perform abortions up until, birth.
Which is ridiculous.
Which is statistically
which is
not accurate.
And it's ridiculous.
I understand
and it's a
that.
mischaracterization
So-
of the point. No, the point
But-
is.
but
the
do you
point
need to
is
be
we
more
have
precise?
I am being precise. We need to put into law.
This right here is an attempt to make the most unpopular of things popular. It's almost like polishing a turd. I mean, you can polish it all you want, but at the end of the day, it's just another piece of crap. That's really and truly all it is. especially given the fact that they decided to put her out there to replace Joe at the 9/11 ceremony. They're trying to make her look eluctable or like a leader, when we all know, given the border crisis and everything, given her body language, her word salads, given the fact that she was recently saying, "Don't pin this crap on me," over the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. I think the people kind of understand, given the fact that her popularity is so low, her approval rating is so low, yeah, you're more than likely not going to be able to get her elected. Then again, though, at the same time, though, they have been leaning into the wokeness, and of course they're doing their national convention in Chicago, the most woke city in America, and obviously it would not it wouldn't exactly please the non-white base to have her not get the nomination. So I'm basically kind of priming you guys now that she's probably going to be the nominee for them in 2024.
Progress, but we're not going to have a constant. There are going to be fluctuations. That is normal, just like the weather fluctuates and circumstances fluctuate, such as elections in those regions and what that might mean. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that we keep our foot off the gas. We have to stay focused and understand there has to be a long-term strategy as well as a short-term strategy.
New Yorkers, Chicagoans, and a lot of people are absolutely rejecting it. Now, I'm not saying these people in these cities are going to go vote for Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis, whoever the Republican nominee is, Vivek Ramaswamy or anybody. I'm not saying that at all. However, it is very possible that they may choose not to vote. They may choose to stay home. Well, what is that? That is less boots on the ground that afford you the opportunity to use those fortifications that you used in 2020 to get over. Fact of the matter is, Democrats right now may be completely out of options. For the exception of one, and this is where I'm going to end the video at. I showed you guys all the stuff involving Joe. Falling down, the very, very stupid stuff he does, the fact that I didn't talk about inflation, but the overall economical situation, which, by the way, they lie to us about all the time. It's very possible that they may not have a choice but to ride his carcass one more time over the finish line. With the Maui situation, the economy being the way it is, the war in Ukraine completely falling apart, and you've also got these people out here saying that they'll suspend the election and we won't have one. To all of you people out there who believe that you can suspend an election or are going to suspend an election, stop listening to these freaking crackheads, all right? Just stop listening to these people. They're only doing this crap for clickbait. I mean, dude, seriously, come out here and say, well, they'll just go ahead and suspend an election. You know what, you
Jeff Munson here. You like watching people get fucked for free? Watch me fuck Mark Kerr for free. I'm going to fuck him. I'm going to put these hands right around his ass and fuck his ass.
This is how I feel about that. Stop looking. Stop going to these clickbait lords. Oh, I can sit here and do the politics of abortion. I'm not going to do that for the purpose of this video because the next thing you know, we're going to go off the rails. As far as about electability, what the Democrats plan on doing, my personal feeling is that the plan is to insert Kamala, if anybody, and then have Peter Buttigieg or possibly Susan Rice be the VP. I don't think it would work, especially given the 2024 Senate map. You see, the Democrats have got more seats to defend this time around. That's one of the main reasons why it is. I think Republicans have got an extremely golden opportunity to run up the score and take back the Senate and possibly get anywhere between 55 to 60 senators come 2024. If you have that many senators with a Republican president on one term with Congress, a lot of reforms can get done. However, the thing is this right here. Kamala is just not popular. Nobody likes her. I mean, I think that they did this to obviously secure the black vote and black vote alone. But then you got this other conundrum, which, by the way, I'm going to be playing to you guys a certain bit of this little segment. Yeah, Kyle Kulinski, Crystal Ball, and Breonna Joy Taylor.
Matter. What are you talking about?
Okay, I didn't expect him to appeal the cases. He appealed the cases. I didn't expect him to do the Higher Education Act after the Supreme Court slapped it down. He did the Higher Education Act. I didn't expect him to do any of it, and he did it. And this is something that, if I said early on, Biden's going to do nothing on student loan debt, everybody on the left would have been like, you're right, he's going to do nothing. Now he does 5, 6 different things on it, and it's like people go, no, doesn't count. I'm not saying what he's doing is perfect. Obviously, the best thing to do is to wipe it all out through executive order, and he has the authority to do that. That'd be the best thing to do. He didn't do that, but can we at least acknowledge the facts of what went down? And I see this rugged insistence. Honestly, it's like Biden derangement syndrome among some people. So do you agree that Biden is better than what we expected on the left?
Maybe you've already set your expectations on the ground, and it seems like he's surpassed your expectations. He has not surpassed mine. I don't know what you want me to say.
But he's not better than what you thought?
No,
that's
he's not better than what I thought he would.
Really?
No.
So you expected to be better than I did, for sure.
I expected him to Well, I didn't really expect him to fulfill his campaign promises, but I'm not going to pat him on the back when he so flagrantly lied about them, no.
But let me ask you...
Basically, if you can't get progressives to get out there and vote for him or vote for her, and given the situation that we've got, the Democrats are in a bit of a bad spot. If Biden is the nominee, you lose roughly a third of your, how do I say this, you lose probably a third of your progressive base. You probably lose a good portion of your classical liberal base. Not that they're going to vote for Trump. That's not what I'm saying. They're just going to not vote. And you'll hear me say this over and over again. The rest of this video, you got to have the boots on the ground to get over. If you go with Kamala Harris, you do see, in fact, a much, much larger minority turnout, but you will probably see a much, much lower white liberal turnout, and you will more than likely see a much, much lower independent turnout. Actually, white liberals will still vote for her, but you'll see a lot of independents, those ones who basically said, you know what, I just want to go out there and go vote for Biden because, you know what, I don't really know, but then again, the pandemic's going, maybe things will change. That's a pretty big portion of the base that got him over. They more than likely will stay home if Kamala's the nominee, given whoever the Republican nominee is, almost a guaranteed win. Which, by the way, I don't really and truly see. I don't see anybody who's actually better than him at this option, given the fact he's the only person to actually beat. Breonna Joy Taylor, a progressive, is having reservations right now. Trust me, this is a perfect amalgamation of the progressive base. Biden needed the progressive base. And seeing how it is that Trump can now go inside frat rooms, he can now go inside frat parties like he did in Iowa, and people will stand for him. Then obviously with the shift going on with young males, with young men, obviously some things are happening on the Republican ticket. I understand that there are a lot more women out there and a lot more women voters who typically give Democrats the advantage, but a lot of times a lot of men don't vote. If you've got a lot of young, white, black, and Hispanic males voting for the Republican nominee, and of course if you add that in with married couples and the very, very sensible single conservative women out there, you're probably looking at Republicans winning the national popular vote, not only the popular vote, but also winning the election at large. Of course, that including the Electoral College and a good portion of those Senate seats that Democrats have got to actually defend. Meanwhile, you've got a portion of the progressive base that says, you know what, Biden didn't give us anything. He didn't do anything else. By the way, Kyle Kalinski's 100% wrong about the student loan debt thing, because Nancy Pelosi even said this. A very, very half-hearted try from an extremely bad actor with, quite frankly, a man who's got, quite frankly, a pee-pee head, pee-pee hair, whatever. I've never liked Kyle. I think he's one of the worst actors over there. Quite frankly, I could give a crap less about that guy. But still, at the same time, though, he's wrong, and obviously people can now see it. And by the way, Kalinski is actually hilarious because Jimmy Dore actually did a video a while back on this. I'm just going to go ahead and roll this.
Former Soviet Union and other authoritarian dictatorial regimes. We're really talking about other people being dictatorial. And Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, as bad as Biden is, you guys are significantly worse, and it's not even close. The Democrats are just way better. They're just way better. They're a trillion times better than Republicans. All right, so there's a lot I have to say in response to this. These kinds of criticisms from this guy, I honestly believe that these people usually overstate how bad Trump is, and they understate how bad Biden is. Well, you're more ideologically in agreement with Biden than you are in agreement with Trump. Well, actually, when it comes to the First Step Act, I agree with Trump on that. When it comes to pardoning Alice Johnson, I agree with Trump on that. When it comes to TPP, Trump's against it, Biden's for it. I agree with Trump on that. I agree more with Trump on North Korea than I agree with Biden. I would need to be convinced that Biden would fight for at least one or two of my top 5 issues. Medicare for all, free college, living wage, ending the wars, and UBI. The people who say Trump is a fascist and they think he's like, basically, we can't survive another 4 years of America with him. Yes. The country will survive 4 years with Trump. The country will survive 4 years with Joe Biden. Again, I think they understate how bad Biden is. Why? On so many core issues, he's against us. Me, at least. I can't speak for this guy. Joe Biden pushed for NAFTA. He repeatedly pushed for TPP. He's a supporter of the Iraq War. On all the pivotal issues of his time, he was wrong. So stop overstating how bad Trump is. The country's still going to exist in 4 years. And understating how bad Biden is. Because it's annoying. I just don't agree with the people who are like, he's a fascist, he's a Nazi, the country's not going to exist in 4 years. You're hyperbolic and you're ridiculous.
You got knocked the fuck out, man.
Biden derangement syndrome is something that I don't think ever really truly existed, and the mere fact that Kyle Kulinski is saying that, especially given the fact that at one point in time he was very, very anti-Biden, it seems to me that he's now officially become a Democrat shield. I just figure I wanted the lefties out there to know that they ever watched him for his progressive takes. He's betrayed you. It was also part of the whole Kyle Kulinski destroys himself thing. Fact of the matter is, the Democrats don't really have much of an option going into 2024. They know Newsom is not electable. They know that Joe right now is hurting. They know that Michelle Obama is probably a little bit too soon. And the current person that they have in office right at this moment in time is somebody who, quite frankly, is just not popular. They also know that black males are leaving the Democratic Party. They also know that Hispanics just may leave as well. And speaking of that whole border crisis thing, which Kamala has been in charge of, Democrats may be stuck with us, creepy old Joe. Just figured I'd go ahead and throw that out there. I know this video was very long and pretentious and all that stuff there, but it's the truth. These people are kind of in a hole, or as my father would say, a wickerpucker, between a hard rock and a hard place. But then again, though, at the same time, though, so are we, because obviously we've got at the bare minimum another year of this crap, and hopefully we can change that. Guys, John Claymore here. If you like the content, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sound off in the comment section. I would love to get you guys' thoughts on this. Please, if consider subscribing to the channel. If you're new, please consider sharing the channel, sharing the video. Please leave a comment too. I would love to get your thoughts. I'll see you guys later.